just realized I have these. We're good?
Yep.
Hi there, I'm Jenny Paxson. I'm with the Webster Public Library, and this is one of our diverse abilities dialogues on free summer stuff at different community organizations. And I am going to be on the panel today, so I'm not going to go into too much, but I'm going to have Britt come up here from Parents Helping Parents Coalition of Monroe County, talk about some of their upcoming stuff and who they are. Here you go.
Jenny told me I have about 5 seconds to talk. So we are Parents Helping Parents Coalition of Monroe County. My name is Brittany Jensick. I have 21 children. 14 of my children have disabilities. So I am very passionate about all of these topics. I am looking forward to hearing what the panelists have to say today because I have lots of kids that need things to do for the summer. We partner also with Autism Up. At Webster Library, we collaborate with other organizations in the district to support families that are parenting children with disabilities, delays, and intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I am glad to be here today. Thanks so much.
Alright, so usually our first question is who you are and what your organization does. So we're just going to go into like what free stuff that each of our organizations does. As I said, I'm Jenny Paxson. I'm with the Webster Public Library, but I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff that a lot of the Monroe County libraries do. One of our big things that we have here is our VIP passes that you can check out. And they're for a lot of different organizations around the county. So we have like passes to the RMSC. You can buy one pass to get one free. So you borrow our pass here, and then you take it to the museum, and then you get the free discount. So we have like at least 15 organizations here, and all of the Monroe County libraries are listed on the back of this brochure. So you can find out which libraries have which passes. So they're really great. Some of the ones that I like besides the RMSC are the Memorial Art Gallery. You can get a complimentary admission for 2 adults. They also, if your kid loves the Museum of Transportation, you can buy one admission, get one free. My son loves that museum, and you get to go on the trolley, so that's pretty cool. Some of them are a little farther out, and up into Tonawanda, there's the Herschel Carousel Factory Museum, which I love that. You get to There's one free adult admission with that one, so it's pretty cool. And we have our brochures over on the table over here, and you can get these at the library if you're not here today. Another really cool pass that we have is the Empire Pass. So you can actually borrow this pass and get free admission to state parks. So if you are going to Niagara Falls and you want to park there, which is a trip and a half to try to find parking up there, but that's besides the point. You can get in for free, which is pretty cool because everything is super expensive. So there's a list of all of the parks. A lot of the parks are free during not like peak season. Like I went to Hamlin State Park and I brought the pass with me, and of course they had no one at the gate. So you can just get in during off season for free at some of these parks, but if you bring the pass with you, you definitely get in for free. Another really cool thing that we have here just at the Webster Public Library is our experience kits. So you can borrow one of these kits, like a cake decorating kit or our GoPro camera. So the cake decorating kits, we have different ones. So if you're having a birthday party for your child and you want to do something fun but you don't want to buy a new cake pan, we have like a Spider-Man cake pan, or we have a doll cake pan where you can we have 3 different Barbie dolls, and you can make the cake and then decorate it like a dress and stick the Barbie in the top, which is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm as adventurous to try to decorate a cake that complicated, but I did borrow a heart cake pan for my daughter's birthday, and I'm excited to try it out. So I did try it with a batch of brownies first just to see how it was, and they did not come out of the pan, so it's always good to try all these things before you do it for a party. But it's really cool that we have all of those cake pans. We probably have about, 15, 20 cake pans that you can borrow, and they're all different. So definitely go and check those out. Another one, we're going to be getting a pickleball kit, which I don't know if anybody's tried that before, but I haven't. So there's an instructional book that'll be with it, so you can learn how to do pickleball with your kids if you want to. Nice staycation ideas for the local area. We also have a ghost hunting kit, so you can like see if there's ghosts in your house maybe. And another cool one that we have is our metal detector. It's super popular because you can find like coins and things in your yard. And for those parents who are looking for something to be helpful, I recommend the CPR kit. Then you can learn how to do CPR. That may not be a fun summer idea, but you prepare yourself for any issue that may come. So there's this over on the table as well, and it's available in our library. All of our upcoming events are in our brochures, and a couple of cool things that are coming up is our summer kickoff is on June 19th, and that's to kick off our summer reading program here at the library. It's dinosaur themed this year, so we're going to have a dinosaur Jurassic camp so that kids can do cool dinosaur things. I'm not really sure 100% what that is, but we'll have a paleontologist here too. So definitely cool dinosaur themed stuff at the library. At our summer kickoff, we'll have crafts, games, story times, and treats. Summer reading goes from June 19th to August 15th. And if you read a certain amount of time, if you read 20 minutes a day up to 500 minutes, you get different prizes and books, free books, and you can be read to. So you don't have to read yourself. So I love that, and a parent gets count the minutes as well as the kid. So if you're reading to your children, it counts for both of you, and there's adult prizes as well as kid prizes. We get gift certificates to local areas, like museums and the zoo, and I think free books as well. So there's like gift baskets from our friends. So that's something we do here, but all the Monroe County libraries do summer reading. So if your library down the street, you should go and check it out and see what type of summer reading they do. But dinosaur is the theme for the entire county this year. And also we have regular story times at the library, which you can see in our brochure. And we have an outdoor story time, not good today in the rain, but every Wednesday during the summer, we have a story time at Ridge Park, which is across the way. And that's also right where Challenger Miracle Field is, which we'll be talking in a minute. And the Ridge Park is where our summer reading is. And I think, one other thing I wanted to mention is if you're going on a road trip, you should borrow one of our, borrow an ebook or an audio book. So if you're trying to keep your kids busy, me and my son, he doesn't like reading at all, but he does like to listen to books. And so we'll put a book on in the car and we'll drive around with the book on, and you can borrow this app called Libby, borrow it. You download the app called Libby on your phone, and if you have a Monroe County Library card, you can get access to free ebooks and audiobooks. So I recommend that if you're trying to keep your kids busy in the car. We also have a Kindle Fire for kids, teens, and adults, so you can take one of these on a trip with you and read books on your vacation. So those are some really cool things that we have here at the library. And I think and we also have Canopy, which you can do streaming video with as well. And I do our tech tutors here, so if anybody ever needs help learning about technology, I'm your person, so come in and see me. I'm here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 most days, so I'm happy to help. At other libraries, you might find special collections like fishing poles, the toy library at the Lincoln Library. Irondequoit has a maker space, so each library has their own special things. These are just some of the special things we have here at the Webster Public Library. So I recommend going and checking out your public library and seeing what cool things they have, because they're always free. That's what we're here for, is to give free information to the community. And sorry I went on so long, so go ahead and you can go now.
So I'm Kristen Housel. I'm the director and speech pathologist at Gigi's Playhouse in Rochester. So we offer programming all year round. Our programs run on sessions. So Each session typically looks similar to the previous session. Summer, there might be a few programs that don't run as often, but we still try to run all the programs. So all of our programs are free. So we are a Down Syndrome Achievement Center. We provide programming, educational programming to people with Down syndrome and their families. So we have tutoring in math, speech, and literacy, and then we also have group programs, cooking classes, exercise classes. We have handwriting, art, and then we have some social skills groups. Registration is on our calendar for group programs, and then the tutoring is application-based. It's on our website. And that is open, it's currently open right now. Registration is open for everything. Tutoring will be open for probably another week or so before we close that out and start pairing. And our summer session runs from Tuesday, May 20, I think it's at 27th, that Tuesday right after Memorial Day. And it runs straight through to the end of July. And then we will be having some pop-up programs the month of August before we start fall programming in September.
I'm Michelle Teach. I am the program and event coordinator for Challenger Miracle Field, which is right over here in Webster. So we also offer year-round programming. We provide sports and events to people of all abilities and all ages starting at age 5 up until adulthood, and we don't have an age limit for adulthood. In the summertime, right now we are doing lacrosse and baseball, so registration is closed for those, but definitely keep it in mind for next summer. Upcoming next is going to be golf, and that registration opens May 15th. And registration for us is always open a month before the program starts. And all those dates and information can be found on our website at rochestermiraclefield.org. We also have the Carpus Family Playground, which is right next to our field, which is free to use year-round. And if your child is interested in getting involved in our sports, they don't need any sport experience within that specific sport. All of our volunteers are amazing and can teach the athletes how to play the sport. And we also have several different events throughout the year. Our big summer event this summer is Heroes Day, which is July 25th. We have a lot of different heroes throughout the local community, like police, firemen, come and spend time with our heroes, which are our athletes. So that's a lot of fun. It's a big festival day, lots of games. All families are welcome. So we hope you'll join us for that. And again, all of this information is on our website at rochestermiraclefield.org, as well as my contact information if you ever have any questions. Thank you.
My name is Rachel, and I am the Early Learning Manager at WXXI. My role is to work with children, families, caregivers to take PBS Kids off the screen and into your homes and into your community. So we thought it was really important that we came to an event like this to let folks know that WXXI, PBS Kids is here and not going anywhere. Everything we offer is free and will always remain so, and that's the model that we use when we are doing events out in the community. So we work from a partnership model, so you might see us at someone else's event or at another location. So we might be, for example, at the public market every Thursday morning this summer. And you can come and see us while you're getting your fresh fruits and vegetables and bring along your kiddos to play. We strive to let everyone know that we are an inclusive organization and that what PBS Kids and WXXI put out is meant for everyone. You might have heard the saying, once a PBS kid, always a PBS kid. So it doesn't bother us if you come up and have some fun, if you are 3 or 13 or 43. We welcome you. We have an entire calendar of community events that we will be at that is up on our website that you can find at wxxi.org/education. And we also wanted to remind folks of the free resources that are available for grown-ups to help your kiddos, to help keep busy this summer, and to keep that learning and excitement for learning going. Of course, PBS Kids has 2 apps, a games app, and all of those games are educationally connected to and based on the PBS Kids shows, which are on the PBS Kids video app. We also, best kept secret, have PBS Kids podcasts. There are about 10 of them, I believe. You can find them anywhere where you stream your podcasts, and you can also find them in their very own list on the PBS Kids video app. We work at different levels with different partners. For example, the Monroe County Library System. We may or may not be in the process of publishing some summer reading resources so that grown-ups and library friends can use them to, if your kiddos are inspired with the summer reading program and things like that. So check us out. Every place we go is free. We're not going to be in any environment where it costs any money to get in the door or to come to the event. So all of the things that are on our calendar are free and open to the community.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. I'm Anita O'Brien. I'm the Executive Director of Rochester Accessible Adventures. We're in our 11th year of what we say as making inclusion happen. We are looking to target recreation spaces where programs are being offered, where businesses are being offered, and as well as just communities where we want to have the community embrace inclusion as just their everyday business. And so we're really working at a systems level to change how recreation and tourism have historically been provided. And what that looks like is that the places where we work now are doing very tangible things to show that they're embracing inclusion as their process. So you might see a recreation center like Parenton that now has an inclusion coordinator. That point of contact, Kelly Attridge, is important because it gives you somebody to call to say, all right, you've got all of these different things here. Our family wants to be engaged. And so just because I'm such a visual person, while we started with one business in Erie Canal Boat Company in Fairport 10 years ago, we're now across the state, and you can see kind of heavily impacted here in our greater Rochester area, which is important to us because there are over 300,000 people living here with a disability, and we think that everybody should be able to go play in their hometown community. And so that's our invitation to these businesses to say, there's a lot more people that could be coming through your doors. Let us help you with that opportunity. So for this summer, when you're looking at things to do, one of the first things I'll invite you to is our extravaganza, which is showcasing not only Erie Canal Boat Company, where you can come as a family and participate in kayaking and cycling and learn what that might look like with the adaptive and standard equipment that's there, but then also learn that they're doing that every day of the year. That's how they run that business. Sorry. The equipment is going to be provided there throughout the summer. Thank you. And so you'll also meet some of the other inclusion partners that are going to be inviting you to come do what they're doing. The really exciting thing, and the reason that we're linear now across the state, is that the Canal Corporation and New York Power Authority have said, you know what, that whole canal corridor thing, which covers 200 plus villages and communities, should all be accessible and inclusive of everybody all the time. And so they contracted with us to work within those communities and pinpoint places of recreation, whether it's a canal museum, whether it's more kayaking opportunities, birding, boat tours, all kinds of things that happen because that canalway is a recreation-based place. And all of those activities that are sponsored by On the Canals are free. So even if you traditionally rent your kayak at Erie Canal Boat Company or Hudson Crossing Park or Elevator Alley in Buffalo, on the days they're doing the On the Canals programs, those are all free. And so what we'll invite you to do is go to our website, to our Direct Connect resource. We have some of these to give out, but you can also find on rochesteraccessibleadventures.org the Direct Connect resource guide, where we're trying to show you all of this activity that's happening that can be your summer trips, your maybe you're going to do a 2-day trip somewhere where you can stay and play and be engaged in those places. So we're talking about for who we work with. That's our sales point. That's our pitch, is come see these places that are expecting us there, that are expecting the whole family to come through. Whether it's kayaking, birding, nature exploration, guided excursions, boat tours, canal museums, city tours, art, cycling, and as our list grows, so does our list of opportunities for families to be engaged in. What's important to us, or what we've experienced, is people will come to something and sign up the individual with a disability, and then stand back and say, okay, they're signed up. And we say, well, don't you want to do this too? Like, wouldn't you be coming with this person on Saturday to do it? Oh, well, yeah. Okay, then this is also for you. That's the new narrative, is these businesses aren't necessarily running programs for people with disabilities. They're just operating with inclusion every day. And so that's very appealing to us. We have flyers that are on that website for the Direct Connect resource guide that give you an invitation to whatever is being offered at that place. Their websites are, I will say, everybody's in a journey to be more inclusive. If I had the wand, I'd wave it and make it so. But these businesses are investing in inclusion. And so if you stay tuned with us, you'll see that they will continue to get better and better. And they're also receptive to families saying, hey, that works, but it could be better for us if you could do this. And they're very receptive to that kind of information as well. So the invitation is our website, rochesteraccessibleadventures.org, Direct Connect resource guide. We have a new Direct Connect coordinator who's in the room, Marianne Price, specifically to really do that outreach to the communities. We're conducting in-services into organizations, so we'd love to come visit. And we're developing resources to empower individuals with disabilities to take and claim this space of recreation and learn how to not have to just be a self-advocate in that space, but to come into spaces that are already doing some of the work and play. And so our invitation as those materials get developed is that you're part of that, that you receive that curriculum and start working through that piece. So love to have many conversations with you. We'll be able to give out these materials, but also have you connect with us and get you on your next inclusive adventure. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Katie Kovar. I am the Recreation Director at Webster Parks and Recreation. We have a variety of things kind of on the docket for this summer. Obviously, the first thing I want to point out is that all of our parks and facilities are free for everyone to use. Our newest park, which is Sandbar Park, is in the process right now of going into phase 3, which will include kind of a learning center and fishing access there. But everything at that playground, at that park is fully accessible right now. Wonderful playground, great place to watch the sunset, things like that. But our spray parks and playgrounds are all free to utilize throughout. We were lucky enough, along with many of the other Parks and Recreation departments across the county, to receive ARPA funding this year, which has allowed us to kind of use some program and facility upgrades. So we recently got new furniture for our senior area and then new gaming equipment in our game room. Those spaces are free for people to come in and utilize. So we encourage you to kind of come in and use those. But the big thing that we've kind of pushed over the last couple of years is more and more events that are free for people to come to. So my goal this year was to have all of our 2026 events lined out in January. So our program guide for each session is available on our website at websterny.gov, and then you can go to the Parks and Recreation Department and see our event listings, as well as our parks. But for this summer, obviously summer celebration returns on June 14th. That's our biggest event. We're also offering what's called Sweating at Sandbar, which is perfect for adults who need kind of that space away too. It's free fitness classes at Sandbar Park on Saturdays, starting in the beginning of June through September. And then we have some other events that are happening as well in July and August that are all free for people to attend and all family friendly. So I encourage you to take a look at the event calendar on our website as well. And then obviously a lot of our programs aren't necessarily free, but we do have summer camp, and we have a variety of summer camp programs that are available. We do work with Webster Community Chest. They offer scholarships for people to get a week of free for camp. It's a very underutilized program that I would encourage people to take a look at, so we can work with you to get 1 free week of camp through that program. So, lots going on this summer. We're staying busy. I encourage you to kind of visit our parks and get out and reach out to me. Again, my name's Katie if you have any questions about the programs and spaces that we offer.
I'm one of the presenters.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah, from the Autism Nature Trail.
Oh my goodness, nobody got back to us. Come and sit up here.
I spoke with Mary.
Oh, she never, come on and sit up here. Take a seat right here. You can sit on my chair.
And I was in the vicinity, probably at about quarter of, and driving around up by the
no.
town hall, the police station, but someone helped to direct me here. So anyway, yes, I'm representing the Autism Nature Trail at Letchworth State Park. How many have you heard of it? I'm sure everybody here has, yeah. I'm a fellow speech pathologist. So the Autism Nature Trail has been we are in our 5th year of programming, and it is a nature trail for all. But the original inspiration for it was to create a trail for those with autism and other developmental disabilities. And so there were 3 co-founders. I am one of them. And but one of the co-founders has a grandson on the autism spectrum. And he lives in New York City with his family, and she was talking to the other co-founder about, it's frustrating, there aren't enough places in New York City where people with autism can feel welcomed and included. And this woman lives at Silver Lake out in Wyoming County, and she said whenever the grandson comes to Letchworth State Park, he just calms right down, he loves it. So anyway, our trail is directly behind the Humphrey Nature Center. Are you all familiar with that? And it is a 1-mile looped trail with 8 different stations on it. We collaborated with a lot of different people. Temple Grandin, who's probably the most well-known autistic adult, guided us with some of the features that are on the trail. For example, It's a 1 mile loop configuration with the entrance to the trail and the exit to the trail right in close proximity to one another, because Temple said it's really important for those with autism to really understand where they can start a journey and where they can finish a journey, as it helps to calm the nerves about the unknown. And then we have station markers at each of our main stations. It's about 6 feet tall, a stone marker. And so therefore, the individual with autism can look in the distance. Okay, there's another place where I'm going to go and explore. And then we have, so the trail again is a 1 mile loop configuration, and then the stations are off to the side. And so the first station is called the sensory station, which invites touch and smell, and all different items from Letchworth, you know, evergreens, pine cones, pine needles, birds' nests, animal skulls, different types of rocks and tree branches, so all to invite touching. I was at that station one time, and a mom came with her 3 kids, and they come up onto the platform where we have everything displayed, and the mom said, "Don't touch anything." And I said, no, they're invited to touch everything. So, and then as you go back out, we have a sunshine slope, which is a gently sloping configuration with the mounds are filled with beautiful wildflowers in the summertime. Right now, it's filled with leaves and junk, and it's not very beautiful, but it will be. And we have cuddle cocoon swings up there, which those of you who are aware of the clinical world, they're little gently, you can climb inside of it to calm down or be revved up if someone is anxious about being in a group. So that is a feature that kids love. Then the next station is our music circle, where we have a number of different musical instruments that are very gentle, percussion types of instruments that emit very gentle tones, because you do know that a lot of people on the autism spectrum are hypersensitive to sound and noise. Then the first part of the trail is very quiet exploration, and then the second half is very much more physical, where we have something called the Meadow Run and Climb, which has a slope that kids can run up, hop down, do whatever gross motor activities they want. And then we have another section to it which has a lot of balance structures that you can walk on and explore. And then further on down, we have the design zone, which is very popular with students or with children and adults. We have structures where you can build forts and design different structures in the mulch. And then we have the playful path, which has all different balance type things to walk on. We've got 8 different patterns on that, like little tree stumps to jump on, flat stones, big rocks to jump on. So, and that's that. And then finally at the very end, you come back through our Trailhead Pavilion, which has our celebration station. We have chalkboards that kids can write on to talk about their journey, and if it's a young child, a nonverbal child, you know, maybe even making a squiggly little mark or a happy face, just to show, well, I completed the journey, I own this, I was successful. And in the summertime, we have from May through October, we have themed programming on different weekends. And they might be birding, we're going to have bird walks, we're going to have arts on the trail this summer where we have some music teachers, we have, we're going to have artists with, that might encourage kids to paint some pictures of the trees in the forest. And then other nature activities like in the fall, leaf identification, and then even exploration of the different types of bark on trees. So we will have speech pathologists on the trail, occupational therapists, we'll have physical therapists on the trail, a teaching staff, and and all of these activities will be posted on our website, autismnaturetrail.com. I have brochures that people can take. So again, this is going to be our 5th season of activities, and we're very thrilled. I just led a tour yesterday with a group of people from Mercer County in, I think it was Western Pennsylvania. They came because they want to duplicate the trail. 2 years ago, we had a gentleman from Australia come with his adult autistic son, his wife, and the son's caretaker. He was there on a Churchill Fellowship, and he spent 4 days with us, and now he is in the process of opening the first ant of, he's calling it the ANTSA, the ant of Southern Australia. So we have had a lot of inquiries from different people all throughout the country, even in Canada. So I think that's my spiel.
Does anybody have any questions? I have about 30, but so I guess kind of miscellaneous questions for everybody. Katie, can you mention again what the name of the scholarship program was that you said was underutilized?
So it's a free week of camp that's offered through the Webster Community Chest. So you can reach out to me or to Jenny Hutchins, who is our financial coordinator, and we'll put you in touch with Webster Community Chest and that coordinator to do that. But that offers 1 free week of camp. It's a scholarship that's offered. I believe they do, I don't want to say the exact number, but I want to say it's like anywhere between 5 and 10. And it's typically an underutilized program, so normally they don't exhaust all of the funds. But for some families, camp is an expense, and so being able to help those families is important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do your camps allow a support staff for children with disabilities so that they would be able to participate in them?
We allow children to bring someone with them, so they're allowed to bring a one-on-one aide or someone with them to that camp. And then we try to work with families as much as possible so that we can, make sure that that works. We started offering what's called the playground camp, and that actually happens at the Miracle Field facility. So it has a day camp kind of feel to it, but it's shortened hours. And so it's less kids, it's on a accessible space, it's just not quite as long. I have a daughter myself who has low muscle tone and kind of gets overstimulated, and so that was kind of modeled around some of those kids who just can't necessarily stand an entire day of camp. And so it's been very successful over the last couple of years, so that's another option for people as well.
Nice. And I guess that kind of leads into Michelle, my question I had for Michelle. Can you talk a little bit about the playground and kind of, I know I have children with disabilities and I really, really, really carefully pick the playgrounds that we go to for different reasons. You mentioned that there is a playground right by Miracle Field. Can you just kind of tell some of the people listening what some of the features are of that playground that make it one of my favorite?
Yeah, of course. So it is fully accessible, and part of that is the flooring that's there can be used by wheelchair users. So it's a very soft flooring, which is also great for anybody to use it. The other thing I love about the playground is there's a message board, which a lot of nonverbal kids love. They can point at different pictures to either show how they're feeling or to show what they want to use on the playground. So it's a great space. We just added a shade structure, which is great to get out of the heat during the summer. And there's a lot of different things to do on the playground as well. So just a lot of different spaces that kids can enjoy.
It's enclosed.
That's what I was just
Yes,
going to say too.
enclosed.
That's
Yes.
a huge thing for my family. I appreciate the fact that that's enclosed. It really makes the safety feature
Yes,
entirely different
definitely.
level. Let's see, what were my other questions? Rachel, can you mention the name of the apps that you were saying that you were talking about?
Sure. They're pretty easy to remember. If you search PBS Kids, any place where you get your apps, there's a PBS Kids Video app, PBS Kids Games app, and the podcasts don't have their own app yet. You can get those any place you get your podcasts, Spotify or wherever, but you can also get them in the PBS Kids Video app. They have their own lists, and they are PBS Kids stories that you can listen to in the car or while you're doing something at home. So you're having that sort of audiobookish, right, experience without being glued to the screen. And they are really wonderful. There's everything from Arthur to Pinkalicious.
Anita, so I have children at Mary Cariola. You were mentioning how how Rochester Accessible Adventures goes into organizations and kind of helps them be more accessible to the community. Do you ever go into schools that are, kind of not intended to be inclusive and kind of talk with them about how they can get their population out into the community? Could you kind of ever do the flip of, what I know your organization is built on and go into whether it's a self-contained classroom in a public school or into a school like Mary Cariola and kind of talk with them about the opportunities that are available to their population out in the community?
Yes, it's the big answer. And we have in a variety of different ways. So and that's an invitation we'd love to extend to everybody here and in the audience, because I think each of the organizations that are supporting people with disabilities are very much immersed in that particular service. And those systems that you have to navigate in those spaces. And so this idea that the community is just out there and it's not very inclusive is a pretty overwhelming thing to try to also do. And that's just where we are. We land in that space, and this idea of coming in and saying, did you know that this is out here, does two things. It gives more people giving a voice to what should be out in the community and how the changes can be made, so it's that feedback system. But then it's just purely, maybe you didn't know that there's all this adaptation and enhancement being made in these places, and they are very intentional about doing it, and here's the invitation to come try it. So those kinds of in-services where we're talking to individuals with disabilities one of the questions I get or that I've stopped asking parents is, what does your child like to do? Because as a parent, you kind of know what they've gravitated towards, but that's totally dependent on what they've been invited to do. Like choice. I can say no to things, I can say yes to things. And so that moment of, did you know that there's a rock climbing gym that has completely supportive, adaptive harnesses that could take your child or yourself up 40 feet into the air? Because that's amazing, And a lot of people say, well, no, I thought you had to do the hand over hand, foot over foot thing. And the reality is there's so much of that happening that we want teachers, PTs and OTs, we want all of the providers to know that this is also happening, so that it's continuing from, the program space, whether it's day hab, whether it's, school, into that after 2:30 part of life, and that weekend part of life.
Kristen, do you guys have any camps, or do you do primarily like classes and sessions?
Yeah, so last year we did pilot it was sort of a summer camp, where it was really more Gigi's programs, but it was a little bit more intensive, and we had a small group of school-age kids that went through that, and it was very successful. We ran it for, I think, the month of July, and we did, I think it was like half days every day, and then we would end on a field trip. But there's definitely interest in it. But summer is, we're primarily run by volunteers, and summer can be a little light with volunteers. We have a lot of interns throughout the school year from various universities. So it takes a lot of manpower to run something like that. We are open to it. If we had support and some help, I'd love to offer something like that again. But pretty much during the summer we do our tutoring, which is weekly, and then we have our group programming. So we have stuff going on all week, but there's definitely an interest in it. And if anybody has any interest in helping run something like that, I'm definitely open to it.
I just want a follow-up question. Do you have any like special events this summer that you're?
Yeah, so all of our programs are free to individuals and their families, but it's not free for us to run those. So we do a lot of grant writing. We do some events. So we do have it's called the Drive for Gigi's. It's June 7th with a rain date of June 14th. That's a really fun fundraiser. It's like a poker run style car show. So they start at one location and stop at 5 different locations, and then we end at the Car Club of Rochester, which is owned by one of our board members, and we have a really fun party. That's a really neat event. And then we have our annual golf tournament in August 8th, and then that's at Mill Creek Golf Course. And then we have August 30th is it's Color Fest this year. So it's a 1 mile color walk / run, and that's at TSC Gates. So we've got some fun stuff coming up. Yeah.
So at the autism trail, you were talking about PTs and speech therapists and things. Like, what types of things do they do on the trail with the?
Well, this is the first year that we are going in the clinical direction. And so so the PT would be in the more active stations and creating maybe different challenges for individuals to go through. The OT might be at the sensory station to encourage people to not be afraid to touch different elements. And then the speech pathologist might have a story time and talking about different vocabulary elements about butterflies or insects, and so we're just creating those specialties for this particular season. And we've always had a teaching staff and a support staff on the weekends to run our programs for different nature themes. And we're going to do maybe a little bit of mindfulness on the trail. People are very interested in that, having very quiet exploration. And we have an area called the Reflection Knoll, and having kids sit there and do some breathing with the forest therapy guide. So, yeah.
And do you have, like, you said do you have special events that are coming up during the summer that?
Well, this summer, we are partnering with the Arts Council of Wyoming County, and we're going to have arts on the trail. And on that day, we're going to have some art teachers and some music teachers, and we're going to have like a drumming circle. The Parks has told us, I asked them if they would have some tree stump drums created for us, maybe little 10 inches high and maybe 12 to 14 inches around, and sticks from the forest. And so we're planning to have music teachers on the trail during our Arts on the Trail month of June. So, yeah.
Michelle, you want to talk about what do you have, 7 sports, 8?
We have 8 or 9 different sports right now. So year-round, we have bowling, soccer, baseball, lacrosse, Golf, which is this summer, and then kickball and football will be in the fall, and then basketball in the winter, and then we just added boxing. So we have a wide variety of different sports for different interests and all ages as well.
We were talking before the recording was starting.
Oh, yes.
And I just wanted to go back on that. So if you could just talk about like self-direction and, you know,
of course.
cost. Yeah.
Yeah, so all of our programs, well, I should say most of our programs are about $35. Bowling and boxing are a little bit more expensive, but all of our programs can be reimbursed through a self-direction plan. So you do have to pay the money up front, but you can then be reimbursed through those benefits that you have.
Does anybody else on the panel have any like that, or is it totally free? Like, is Gigi's totally free? Yeah. And
Some of the businesses that we work with they have fee-based programming. One of the things that we have taught them about is self-direction, so that if they can make that work for that system, then people are able to go kayaking, go cycling, participate in fencing or birding, or the birding's free, but the other ones where there is a charge and have that reimbursed. So that's a piece of our really trying to empower that business to be responsive to the needs.
very cool. I was just curious about, oh, sorry, go
No,
ahead,
I was
Katie.
just gonna say, our fitness memberships and sometimes the personal training aspect too. We have a couple of people that come in that honestly just like walk the halls with some of our personal trainers, or use that space, and that all is reimbursed through self-direction as well. Sorry.
WXXI, I know you were talking about the public market and that kind of stuff. What are some of the other special events or fun stuff that you have through WXXI?
We're a little bit of everywhere. If you are a community organization that is having an event, we would love to be there. Because our offices are studios and not really public facing, we are really out there most of the time instead of having folks come to us. Because we're set up to make TV and radio programs, not to be out in the community. But I'm just trying to think of some examples. Sometimes they have family-facing things at Parcel 5 downtown, or at Mendon Ponds Park, or things like that. There's a brand new Jim Henson special that just came out on Friday called Wow's About, meant to inspire awe in parks and in the outdoors. I believe it's a half an hour, which is a little bit longer than most of the things on PBS Kids. And it takes place in a national park. And they have some supplemental activities that you can do with the kids. Having watched it, it is really lovely and wonderful, and it really, as a grown-up, helped me to think about ways that I can inspire that wow or sense of awe in the kiddos and with the families that we work with. We are at back-to-school events, and you'll see the WXXI booth at the Lilac Festival and Cornhill and all the different places. So any place you're looking for, head to our website, wxxi.org/education. You can see our calendar of all the places where we'll be in the community this summer.
I have 3 typically developing children that are, and I hate that word, but I don't know what else to say, that are national gymnasts. And several of my other children with disabilities have been asking me for years and years and years and years if there is a gymnastics class that they can take to, I guess this goes maybe to Kristen and Michelle and Katie, I guess. Oh no, actually Anita too. Do any of you have any suggestions? Are there any gymnastics classes available that would be able to support children with disabilities that any of you know of?
I personally, oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, it's funny you mentioned that because it's a topic that keeps coming up at work about us. We actually don't offer any gymnastics classes. And I apologize, but no, it's a really good idea, honestly. And I feel like now that you're asking it, it's kind of like we need to execute. But go ahead.
My brother, who has Down syndrome, participates through Special Olympics. I'm not sure, I'm really not sure if there's a cost, but I'm sure you can find the information on their website. And I know in Rochester, they practice at the Henrietta Rec Center. And then they do lots of fun state games, and he actually went to the USA Games a few years back. So it's a really fun opportunity. I know another program that's in Rochester for sports is Sportsnet, and they also have a lot of different sports available for people of all abilities as well.
Yeah, they used to have a program that was at not Nazareth, it was at Brockport, and they would let you go on the equipment there, but I don't think they've done that in a couple of years. But did you have?
There's
go
like
ahead.
I don't know the name, but there's like the cheerleading, I've seen the cheerleading programs.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen a lot of that.
Mhm.
I could get
It has
that.
to pop up somewhere.
Right, it has to be. What about like any of the YMCA's? Do they have, no?
No, and I mean, my children are involved in a couple of different gyms, and they both coach there, and they both would be willing to coach.
Right.
But it's a matter of equipment and I think
Sure.
liability. So it's kind of a tough one, but my children ask me that all the time, and people in the community ask us that all the time too.
Anita, did you have any thoughts? You look like you're thinking hard over there.
So there was a group, and I see that they're off of URMC's inclusive brochure, so I'm wondering if maybe they're just not there. And I will just add to your thought there about the liability part. It really can't be a liability. Like, nobody can claim because these businesses have insurance to cover accidents and whatever, their liability, so they can't use that one. They may not know how to do it and how to be inclusive, but yeah, we'll add that to our list to see who we can train and support.
So we're getting down to our last 5 minutes here, so I thought I'd go through and just say if anybody had any final things they want to share, or kind of success stories, or I don't know, anything you would like to share before we end. So if you want to start down this way.
Let me think. Certainly, I feel like we have had lots of success stories with kids just feeling so empowered, walking the trail with a caretaker, or with a classroom. We've had a lot of special education classroom groups come through, and this one time I was at the trail at the music circle with a group of probably in the 13, 14, 15-year-old range. And there was a young blind girl playing one of the percussion instruments, and it emits beautiful, gentle tones. And she was just singing at the top of her lungs. And then a few of her classmates were up on our stage, and they were putting on a performance together. And that just was, to me, just brought me so much joy. It's like, okay, this is what the intention of our program was. So, yeah.
Mine isn't, it's not specifically about Gigi's, but I think I'm very grateful for having opportunities like this, because I think, I'm involved in a lot of different programs at the Playhouse, but I also like to get out into the community as much as possible. And I think this gives us a lot of really good ideas to get our people involved in all these other wonderful resources. So I'm very thankful for being part of this. Thank you.
I would say Miracle Field has truly become a family. When people join, it's a really great community to join, not only for the athletes, but for the families as well, and the parents. We had one family that recently moved to Rochester. They didn't know anybody coming in, and then her son joined Challenger Miracle Field. He was very shy at first, and now over the months has really opened up, has done all of our sports. The mom has made some great friends as well throughout the people who join Challenger. So it's just a great group of like-minded people, of parents who just get it, and just a safe place for everybody to hang out and to have fun. So it's really been a great experience to be a part of.
Right? Yeah. One of the things that makes me the most proud to be working at WXXI with PBS Kids specifically is the amazing job that they do with representation on screen. PBS Kids has been incredibly intentional over the last several years. If there were shows that did not already have a character with a disability in them, they put one in there. In their general sort of regular marketing stuff you might see out, you'll see kiddos with various different kinds of disabilities participating in their school and in their community. If you have a young person in your house who needs to see themselves represented, PBS Kids is a place where you can find that. And we have a few resources for the grown-ups at another page on our website, wxxi.org/friends, that has some grown-up resources for you to be able to know which shows, which characters have disabilities within the PBS Kids land, and that you might be able to share with your kiddos. Everything from Carl the Collector, of course, to Sesame Street and Dinosaur Train and all the rest.
Yeah, I am excited to hear. I'm excited because recreation is just like what we should just all focus on. It is the most important part of our lives, I think, where we get that social engagement, where we get the physical health benefits, and so it's fun to have this session where that's the focus. I think that the word inclusion and all of that can be an overwhelming space, and sometimes you're left with asking, do they mean me in my family? Like, do we fit? And so recognizing that is a hard space, that's where we're trying to help with that piece. And in addition to coming on the 27th and 28th of June and meeting some of these businesses that are trying to be incredibly intentional about being inclusive, I would invite you to participate with us. We have a Rock Regional Inclusive Collective, and that space is where we are inviting folks to, it's virtual or hybrid, depending on the month, and be a part of the solutions and fill in with us and give us that feedback so that we can push this back out more broadly. We do advocacy, we do change-making things, and that's our invitation to at the same time that we're playing on Saturdays and Thursdays and Tuesdays, we're also making waves around and having other people listen to what needs to be heard. So that's our big invitation, as well as just coming and playing.
I'm just appreciative of this. You've given me a lot to kind of think about. You know, we may not offer some of these things now, but we're always forward thinking. We're working on a space right now in our building and being able to kind of keep that, sensory friendly and open to the public. So I appreciate that. And if people have other suggestions, we're always open to those conversations. One other thing I wanted to point out is we do have a monthly newsletter. It's called The Word that you can sign up for through our website, and that is free and kind of lets you know about upcoming programs or upcoming events, but really kind of touching on all ages and all kind of, whether it's fitness or our seniors or our youth or whatever. So I encourage you to visit our website for more information. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I just wanted to give a plug for our next event. It's on June 3rd. It's on motor development. It's at 11 a.m. I believe that's the last one we'll be doing on Wednesdays. So we'll be moving these to Tuesdays starting in July. Just because it's, we're just moving it to a different day to try something different. In August, though, we're having our first ever college and transition fair for people with developmental disabilities, and that will be August 8th. It's a Saturday, and it's from 10 to noon. And so if there's anybody in your life who is transitioning through, when the bus doesn't come anymore, what happens after that point? this will be something for you. We're going to have colleges, we're going to have job, workforce development, volunteer opportunities, and also like housing. So everything you could think of going forward after getting out of school, that is what that event is going to be. And we'll have resources and organizations who are available to talk about those different things. So that's August 8th. But I wanted to thank everybody on the panel today. Y'all did a great job, and definitely check out their websites and their information. I will have that on the YouTube channel, their names and everything, so you can check out their information there. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.